I think it's working now. That last situation was a fiasco. I was talking for quite a minute, I think, before it dawned on me that I never pushed the right button to turn on my microphone. For the sake of sakeness, I'll try to rehash everything that I spoke on, but I'm not gonna hit all my talking points anyway. And it ain't like I was writing this down or reading, so I'm just gonna play off of where I was at. So basically, um, the reason I'm doing this podcast, stream, live, or whatever you want to call it, is simply for one purpose. I have my personal reasons, and I'll put those aside. But if I choose to hit this button and go live and leave myself open to the world's ear, then I'm just here to be a voice. We've accepted the fleeting for too long lately. Things that are so critical to how we move within society today are forgotten tomorrow. So I'll show a level of consistency with what I'm going to do here on this podcast, stream, live, whatever you want to call it. But as far as intentions, I'm just going to be a voice. I'm not trying to have no fancy videos, graphics. I'm not going to be extremely topical. This is really op-ed, opinion editorials in a streaming way. Stream of consciousness, basically, is what you're going to get from me. You will get a level of consistency. I'm going to try to do this daily in bits. It might be multiple times daily, but no more than 10, 15 minutes when I have free time to just be a voice. If we have this grand opportunity to push a button, and no matter how far-fetched it might sound, but to capture the world's ear, well then, if I'm going to push this button, I have a responsibility to represent myself in a certain fashion and to respect those listeners. So I'm just going to be a voice. Shout out to anybody that chooses to listen. Shout out to anybody that chooses to tune in. I promise you I'll be more refined going forward. But you got somebody that's going to be very forthright. I'm going to grasp this opportunity to just speak to the world. I'm naming this stream of consciousness words because I've always stood by the premise that words matter. One thing I've learned about the vocabulary we use when we communicate here in this particular part of this plane is that we like to use a lot of not cliches, because that ain't the word, because a lot of cliches are really just plays off real life. Art imitates life, and a lot of cliches come out of artistic endeavors. So I'm not going to use the word cliches, but we use a lot of filler words. We don't be real clear. And I'm just going to be clear. I'm going to hit this button. I'm going to get on, speak my piece, get out y'all way. I want everybody out there to be safe. It's a trying time. We see what people are going through. The beautiful struggle is real. If you really want to know where I'm really pulling the inspiration to do this from, it comes from a few different places. Because I guess I can consider myself an old guy now. I had a lot of older experiences. I haven't fully grasped what's going on in this world. I don't do a lot of video chats and texting and all that stuff. My kids laugh at me for that. It's funny. But back in the day when I was coming up, because of the era, pre-World Wide Web, everything was regional. Everything was kind of right where you were. And I remember as a kid traveling when you would even go outside your own state. You didn't even have to go really that far, but just traveling around. And really, the first thing you wanted to do when you got to a new place was find the black radio station. That was my thing. What's the black radio station? Because in my mind, regardless of where I went, there was somebody that related to me, that sounded like me, that looked like me. And that radio did that for me more than television. Because I knew what television was from the start as a kid. If it's on that TV, somebody sat and wrote it down. It's too much money on the line. It's too much at stake. They've been in business for too long. So unfortunately, if you're a person that think that it's just people on TV freestyling, you got another thing coming, Jack. But it was something about that radio, because at this point we know, corporations dominate these airwaves. But that AM dial, it was something about that AM dial. You would still find good music. You would still find people who had opinions about things that might be outside your norm. I thought that was dope. And so if what I'm doing is dated, if what I'm doing is not as sharp, clean, refined, fresh, new car smelling, don't bother me none. I used to listen to a podcast called, well, it wasn't even a podcast, it was a radio show. This was probably 10, 15 years ago, called The Hour of the Time. I listened to it on YouTube, but it was an old radio show. And it wasn't what the dude was saying that struck me as, oh, this is dope. It was the fact that the dude who was doing the show, and I'll let you look up who he is, because I'm doing this particular stream on YouTube as well. And there's certain people you can't bring up without eyes start looking your way. So The Hour of the Time, what struck me the most about it was that this dude would say he was in like the middle of nowhere. I'm in a desert in New Mexico, such and such, such and such. And it was like his radio show only went out to the people that lived within his 100 miles or whatever. But the fact that he sat there and almost every day or once a week or however often he did this show, he had a passion for what he did. It wasn't about who's listening. It wasn't about gaining viewers. It was about I have a passion for what I do. And for some fateful reason, I've always had a passion for this microphone. Not even the microphone per se. I've always had a passion just for media in the realm of broadcasting. Because TV was TV to me. I never got excited or starstruck about TV because I had a hip hop perspective about TV. Yeah, you're a celebrity because these people saying you're a celebrity, but you don't write your rhymes, son. So I'm looking to see who wrote the show and who the producer is and who the cameraman is, because this actor, yeah, you cool. But if it wasn't for these pictures, we wouldn't see you at all. So this person who writing can go write for 10 different shows. They chose you to be this person. Fun fact, Rudy from the Cosby Show was named Rudy because that was a name that could be used for either a boy or a girl. The character was not written particularly for a young girl. The character was just written for another child of Bill Cosby. And Keisha Knight Pulliam ended up getting it because there were males that auditioned for that role as well. One of them being Jaleel White, the legend himself. Just a little tidbit of stuff that I came across. Anywho, I've been on here 9 minutes and 45 seconds. And before that, I was on here, y'all, no lie, probably 10, 15 minutes before I realized I had no microphone action. Hopefully this is came across clearly. This is Ricky as himself. Y'all stay up, be at peace. You are the gift. Ain't no blessings you got to be waiting on. Ain't no gifts. None of that you need to be waiting on, because you are the gift. 13 billion cells in your body. They claim this place is 13 billion years old. They claim we've evolved from these little knuckle scratchers to the people we are now. We are ever evolving. Look at your children, and if you don't believe in the evolving of man, woman, and child, you need to question your sanity. This world is a great place ran by very selfish and wicked individuals. Don't get caught up in the rigmarole. Look into your son's eyes, you can see the sunrise. Look into your daughter's eyes, you can see the sunrise. Or just look at the sunrise and realize that the same energy that brought them here is the same energy that makes that sun appear. This is Ricky Jones. Y'all have a great evening. Eat good, sleep good. Say a prayer to whatever you believe in, but just keep believing.